Welcome to a 212 Toby model built in IronCAD. This is dated July 6th. This is a lock plate. A fairly simple model. Consists of a couple cylinders, your main body cylinder, then a couple varying diameters from a 90 to looks like a 70 here and an 80 up here with some depth. And then we have some cutouts on this and some counterbores. And the cutouts are defined here with a certain size and width for these cutouts and depth locations here. So we're going to use IronCAD to build this, and this is all drag and drop models in IronCAD. We don't have to go into any sketch models for this. So let's go ahead and hop over to IronCAD and show you how you can do this. So first thing we're going to do is going to start with our cylinder. We're going to drag and drop that out, and we are in millimeter units. So we're going to set the value here for our outer diameter in this case is 142. And we know the depth of this is 77. So we'll go ahead and set that as our starting point. Next, I'm going to build it from the bottom up because we're going to put the cutouts on this side, and then we'll put our counterbores on the other. So we'll just use this as our starting location, and we're just going to drag and drop another cylinder precisely to the center, and we'll set that diameter for this one, which is going to be 80. And it has a depth of 44 on there, so we just hit enter until we get to our depth handle. In this case, it is going to be 44 for our depth. And next, we're going to drop another cut cylinder to do the one on the bottom. In this case, I'm going to drop it on this edge and hold the shift key down. It'll automatically put us in the center. And again, I just need to set the diameter for that and the height. Again, if you hit the enter key, you'll see the yellow handle change until you get to the extrusion height, which we're going to set that one to a value of 9. So that's our bottom one. And then we'll do the last one, the same thing. We just drag and drop. We can find that center point or drop on the edge. It'll snap it to the center. And we know the diameter on that one is 70 for the bore there. So that's all we have to do to get those three placed, as you can see there, as we rotate around. So very, very easy to start with that process. Same thing for the extrude. We're going to drag and drop right into the center here because we do know the width of this thing. So this is the inner one, so we're going to set the width of that one to 24. And then we're going to right click. I did right click on that before I set that value, by the way, so it does symmetrically. As you can see here, as I drag, you'll see that symmetrically do it. So it's the same for when you release, it's going to do a symmetrical value for that. So anyways, we don't need to set anything here for this one. We're just going to pull it through, and then we'll just set the depth on this, which we have an overall depth of 39 for that. So that gives us our main shape here. So we can drag and drop another one out here and do the same thing, or we can reuse this shape. In this case, I'll just turn the tri-ball on, and you can simply just right click and drag, say copy here, and just set the distance as 0 for that, and hit OK, and that puts us another shape right in there. So you can see it's kind of floating here in space because we can use this to build our width cutout here. And what we know is that top part of that cut is 22 from the top. So we'll just take that overall value right now and subtract 22 from that. So that'll put us at the top value. We know the width of that cut, the thickness of that cut, in other words, is 10. And we know the width, again, we'll right click and pull this. You'll see that cut appear. The width of that is 42 in this case. So that's all it takes to build that particular shape here. So we don't have to do a sketch plane, draw this profile, extrude it in both directions. You can certainly do that if you like, but this is just another way to do it. And you can use both features independently. Basically you can multi-select them holding the shift key down and use the tri-ball to rotate them, or you can use the pattern feature tool to rotate it as well, but it's simple to use the tri-ball. We can say right click and drag, set linked here. I'm going to do one more at 90 to create that. So it's a very quick way to do this. And it's nice that it maintains those features that you can alter these independently without going back into the sketch to do any sketch geometry or references from the center point. It's kind of very handy to use the handles to do that in this case. So that gives us pretty much the main part of our geometry. So now we'll just come to the other side. And what we need to do is add a counterboard hole on here. So we'll just go to our catalogs. We have a mechanical catalog. You can double click to get in here, or you can drag and drop the whole item out. I'm just going to put it on this edge here. Again, not the point, but I'm on the edge. I'm holding the shift key down. And what that is going to do, once I select I want to add a hole in here by double clicking, it's going to put it right in the middle of our model, just like I did with those other shapes. Same thing works for these tools. And we're going to do a counterbore. In this case, it's got a diameter of 9, and it's a through, and it's got a counterbore diameter of 15 and a value of 5. So we've already got those set in here, so you can see those three values there and the through hole set, and we can just go ahead and hit apply to do that. Next, I can just move this out, and what we know is this is sitting on a particular diameter which it gives us as 115. So just take 115 divided by 2. You can don't have to do the math or anything like that, and that'll put us right where we need to be. And then we can just hit our space bar and then hold our shift key down and hit that circular edge to put it right back to the center. Lock our axis of rotation, and we can now create 3 more links at 90 degrees of those. So again, we could use the pattern tool for that if we liked, but we can use a tribal to do this as well. So this is kind of how we can build this shape. That's all it really takes to build this. So you got your counter bores and all your holes inside of there. That's a fairly simple model to do, very quick to do in IronCAD. And again, if we want to get the properties for this, we can select on that, and we know it has a density of 1020. And if you tab out of there, that should give you a mass about 710 for that model. So very easy to do in IronCAD, and hopefully you find this useful, how you can think a little bit different in building these models with drag and drop features, and gives you a little bit more flexibility for modification later as well. Enjoy.